Although I've never had one growing up, I was recently gifted a PSP and the first thing I noticed was the outdated screen. There's lots of cool things you can do on a PSP nowadays, so I wanted to give it the upgrade it deserves. Today I'm modding this PSP 1000 and installing a brand new IPS display. This is an easy and cheap upgrade that makes a huge difference. It's my first time modding a PSP, and spoiler, it wasn't that bad. Before we start, here's a quick run through of what you're going to need for this mod. Q-tips, 99% alcohol, 2 different size spudgers for prying, tweezers, your screwdriver, a microfiber cloth, and soldering iron. I'd also recommend having some wicking tape for any mistakes made when soldering. If you suck like me, of course. Oh, and bonus points for an air gun. Okay, first thing we're doing is opening up the PSP. To begin, remove the battery cover and the battery. Next, remove the sticker under the battery covering the screws. Not as easy as it sounds. Once that's all, there are 5 screws holding this shell together. 4 on the corners and 1 on the bottom. Just take your time here. These screws are small, some of them strip easily, especially that bottom left one. By far it gave me the most trouble. Once all the screws are out, gently flip over the PSP and lift that front shell away. You should feel it unclip. Now you'll see the original LCD sitting in the frame. There's also a button strip at the bottom of the screen. Use a flathead bit to pry it off. Start at the corner. Now, similar to the button strip, you'll want to remove the screen using the flathead. Start at the corners and be careful to avoid damaging the original screen. Pry it out by pressing the small latches on the side. This ended up being a much trickier process than I thought, so just go slow. And there we go. Should be easy from here. Underneath, we have 2 ribbon cables. The wide one for the display and the smaller one for the backlight. Flip up the latches with the pick, not your fingernail. And once you've done both, slide the ribbons out carefully. And that's the old screen removed. Before the IPS goes in, we'll need to clean up the frame. Remove any leftover glue, dust, or fingerprints. I know, this part seems boring, but trust me, it's what prevents specs from showing up forever under the new screen. Based on the instructions provided, we need to bridge these 2 points here. Keep in mind the placement of these 2 points can vary depending on your PSP model. You can bridge them by soldering or by using the conductive paint if supplied in the kit. Mine didn't come with the paint, and personally, I'm somewhat new to soldering. I find it relaxing, mildly therapeutic, so that's what we're going to do here. Just make sure you don't use too much solder like I did. This can cause the bridging of points. And some desoldering wick. Used a bit too much, so I had to clean it up. I'm a sicko. Now for the IPS screen. I purchased this one on AliExpress. I'll link it below. It was pretty cheap, about $20 to $30, paid for it myself. This kit didn't come with an adapter ribbon cable, but we do have some foam. Next, slide the main ribbon in gold contacts down. Then lock the latch. Once you got that in, do the same for the secondary ribbon. If the latch doesn't close easily, it's not aligned. Don't force it. Once you got that in, before closing up, give it a test. I'm having some initial issues here, just a black screen at first, so I disconnected the ribbon cables. That didn't work. I then fixed up the solder job. Looks like that fixed it. There we go. This IPS screen is thinner and lighter than the original, so we have to make sure it sits flat in the frame, otherwise the shell won't close right. First, we're going to lay down some foam on the back of the screen. Next, place the screen in at an angle. Lower it into position and make sure those corners are fully seated. Once the screen is in, lay the foam tape down. Pro tip, cut the tape into fours. I repeat, cut the tape into fours. Trust me. Use a tweezer to realign it if it's off. And cut the excess if any. Next, attach the button strip and don't forget the ribbon cable. And voila! When everything looks good, we can put the front shell back on. If you're going to use the same face, make sure you clean it. After doing so, peel off the protective film and drop the face back on. Press lightly around the edges, don't squeeze too hard, you're just making sure the shell sits flush around the screen. Next, reinstall all 5 screws and don't over tighten them, especially the ones by the bumpers. If the face buttons feel stiff or the shell won't close, usually means the screen isn't fully seated, so just open it back up, adjust, and try again. And that's the whole install. The PSP now has a bright, modern IPS display. Honestly, it makes the handheld feel brand new again. This mod massively improves brightness, viewing angles, color, and seriously reduces ghosting. It also makes playing outside in natural sunlight much easier. This is where the IPS upgrade really shines. Even outside in the snow, the screen is clear, bright, and totally usable. For a handheld this old, that's huge. I gotta be honest, the scratch on the screen is really bothering me, so I think we're going to do a full shell swap in the next video. See you then.